I was standing in the conference room, watching a client I'd worked with for 8 months shake hands with my coworker Sarah. "Thanks for always being so responsive," he said to her. "You've really turned things around." My stomach dropped. I had never missed a single one of his emails. But in that moment, staring at her perfectly practiced smile, I realized she'd been stealing my work and my reputation right out from under me. I'm going to tell you exactly how I figured out what she was doing, how long it had been going on, and what I did about it. Trust me, you'll want to hear how this ends. 2 years ago, I was hired as an account manager at a mid-sized marketing firm in Chicago. I was 29, hungry to prove myself, and genuinely excited about the work. The job was everything I'd been working toward. Good salary, great clients, room to grow. I reported directly to our department head, Marcus, who seemed impressed with my portfolio and work ethic from day one. Sarah joined the team 6 months after me. She was 32, confident, always perfectly put together in a way that made you feel slightly underdressed even when you weren't. We became work friends fast, or at least I thought we did. We'd grab coffee together, vent about difficult clients, stay late collaborating on presentations. When she asked me questions about my accounts, I thought she was just being interested. When she offered to help by CCing herself on my emails so she could learn from me, I thought it was flattering. I was so incredibly stupid. Things started changing about a year ago. Small things at first. Clients would mention phone calls I hadn't made. A proposal I'd been working on for weeks would suddenly be described as Sarah's project in a team meeting. I'd get feedback about being unresponsive, when I knew I'd replied to every single message within hours. Marcus started making comments about my communication skills slipping. I felt like I was losing my mind. I worked harder. I triple-checked every email. I started documenting everything in spreadsheets, logging every client interaction, every response time. My boyfriend at the time told me I was being paranoid. "Maybe you're just stressed," he said. "Maybe you did forget to reply." But I knew I hadn't. Something was wrong, and I couldn't figure out what. But that wasn't even the worst part. 3 months ago, I lost my biggest client, Thompson Media, a 6-figure account I'd built from the ground up. Marcus called me into his office looking genuinely disappointed. "They requested a transfer to Sarah," he said. "They feel she's been more attentive to their needs." I sat there speechless. I had spent a year nurturing that relationship. I knew every detail of their brand strategy, their quarterly goals, their CEO's communication preferences, and they thought I'd been ignoring them. That night, I ugly cried in my car for 20 minutes before I could even drive home. I'd never failed at anything like this before. My performance reviews had always been stellar. I'd won a company award my first year, and now I was watching my career crumble, and I had no idea why. I started staying later at the office, trying to figure out where I was going wrong. I'd refresh my email obsessively, making sure nothing slipped through. I started blind copying my personal email on important messages, just to have proof I'd sent them. And that's when I noticed something strange. Some of my sent messages in Outlook had timestamps that didn't match my personal records. I'm not especially tech-savvy, but I have a friend who is. I casually asked him over drinks if it was possible for someone to access another person's email without their knowledge. "At work?" he asked. "If they have your password, yeah. Or if IT set up forwarding rules you don't know about. Why?" That conversation changed everything. The next morning I went in early, like 6 a.m. early. I logged into my email and dug into the settings, the places I'd never thought to look before. And there it was. A forwarding rule I absolutely had not created. Every email from my top 5 clients was being automatically forwarded to Sarah's inbox. Not copied. Forwarded. Which meant she saw them before I did. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely scroll. I checked the rule history. It had been set up 14 months ago. 14 months. I kept reading. There were filters, too. Certain client emails were being auto-archived in my inbox so I'd never even see them arrive. She'd been intercepting my communications, responding as if she were me, and letting me take the fall when clients got frustrated with my lack of response. Stay with me, because what happened next is the part that still keeps me up at night. I didn't confront her. I didn't run to Marcus. I did something smarter. I documented everything. I took screenshots of the forwarding rules, the timestamps, the filter settings. I went through 14 months of my sent folder and cross-referenced it with my personal backup emails. I found dozens of messages I never actually sent, responses in my sent folder that I had no memory of writing because Sarah had sent them from my account after she got my password. I don't know how she got it. Maybe she watched me type it one day. Maybe she guessed it. It doesn't matter now. I built a case. A 40-page document with screenshots, email threads, client testimonials from before everything went wrong, and time-stamped evidence of every sabotage. I included logs showing when the forwarding rule was created, during a week I'd been out of the office for a family emergency. I even found a deleted draft in my trash folder where Sarah had started an email pretending to be me, then clearly thought better of leaving evidence. Then I went to HR, not Marcus, HR. I walked in with printed copies, a USB drive backup, and a witness statement from our IT guy who I'd quietly asked to pull access logs. Turns out Sarah had logged into my email remotely 6 times in the past 3 months. And what I did next. Most people told me I'd gone too far. I didn't just want her fired. I wanted every client to know what she'd done. So I worked with HR and legal to draft an email that went out to every single account she'd stolen from me, explaining that there had been unauthorized access to company email systems and that they'd been communicating with the wrong account manager for months. The email apologized for the confusion, reassured them about data security, and offered them the choice to return to my management or stay with Sarah under the circumstances. 4 out of 5 clients came back to me, including Thompson Media. Sarah was fired within a week. Marcus was demoted for failing to investigate my complaints earlier. I got a formal apology from the company, a raise, and a new title, Senior Account Manager. But honestly, the part that felt best was watching her pack up her desk while I sat at mine, sipping coffee, finally breathing normally for the first time in a year. I learned something important through all of this. Your gut is usually right. When something feels off, when you feel like you're being gaslit or undermined, trust that instinct. Don't just work harder. Investigate smarter. Document everything. Protect yourself. Because there are people out there who will smile to your face and destroy your career behind your back without losing a second of sleep. If this story resonated with you, subscribe. I share a new story every single week. And drop a comment below if you've ever been betrayed by someone you completely trusted. You are not alone, and you will get through this.